Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, who also has the divine name Sarvagnaha and Gnanamuthamam, to such a loving Almighty, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, Prapatti, we offer our humble most salutations. To seek His grace, His love, His benevolence, His affection, His kindness, His generosity, His forgiveness, His strength. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities in a much more enhanced position. Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutva. We beseech in you that again and again With these qualities enriched in ourselves, and with your grace, we are able to have the first-hand experience of Thy self in our own very being. This can happen only and only with your grace. We again and again pray to you. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. With the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 421 on the 15th of April 2025. Swasti Shri Vishwavasu Nama Samvatsara Uttarayana Vasantarutu Chaitramasa Krishna Paksha Bhaumavasare Tritiyatitau Vishaka Nakshatra Siddhinama Yoge Vanija Bhadrakarani. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all once again take a pledge. Naham karta hari karta, hari preranaya hari prityartam. It is He and He alone who pervades and manifests in the entire universe. Other than Him, there is nothing else. Rest is all an illusion. We, having considered ourselves as something other than that divinity, O Lord, give us that knowledge that I am not the doer, I am not the experiencer. I am a sure witness to all that is happening. Make this knowledge firmly abide in myself without even have to think about it. Just as I know me in ignorance as this person, in the same way, I want to cross over this Dehatma Buddhi and get established in the Paramatattva. And that can happen only with your grace. With utmost prapatti, we once again beseech in you to help us achieve that. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara again. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So in our previous discourse, we understood how and when each soul gets this divine knowledge. Even amongst the so-called, whom we call as the ones who are seekers, advanced seekers, how they mature from time to time. See, each one is having so many attachments in life. Now, how that withers away from time to time and how each one starts evolving. So in the story which we understood, timing was one thing which was clear to us, that when the right time comes, then we can see that the Lord brings us this divine knowledge. And just as a mother, if she has to deliver a baby safely, pain is an integral part of that divine incident happening. Without pain, you are not going to get a child. So here, if at all something is causing you pain in life. And at the same time, if you are able to understand that I am now moving towards divinity, somehow I am losing interest with all the other things which I once upon a time I loved doing it. I could go to any extent to do that, but now I would go to any extent to avoid doing that. So that's when you have that in your mind. Say you may not be doing well in what you're doing in your profession or in your business or whatever it is. If you're not doing well, but if you're going closer to God, that means you're blessed. And what is this? What if there is a situation where you're doing well? Family is growing, everything is getting well, profession is good, business is good, job is good, but you're moving away from God. All that good is a waste. This is what the Bhagavatam says, and the Narada Bhakti Sutra also says. Be it anything in life, if you're going closer to God, you are progressing at God's speed. So we should always look at that and pray for that. Don't look at the other things. So now, up to the 16th verse, what did we study? What is the method of inquiry? And we got to understand through a beautiful story of a salt doll which went to measure the depth of the ocean, to understand ocean, to know what it is, and eventually it became the ocean. So here too the Upanishad says, those souls who get into the mode of inquiry of Brahman, that pure consciousnness, that Paramatma, they eventually become one with Paramatma. So there can't be a much nobler task than this, or a better endeavor in life for us. So let's go on headstrong. Now, as the Upanishads say, whoever is on this path, a seeker. So it says that first is the sorrows are mellowed down in the life of that seeker. While you are practicing, yes, there will be. But as you go, atyantika dukkha nivritti. Atyantika means extreme dukkha. Nivritti, they will be swayed away. They will not affect you. And then comes Paramananda Praptischa. These are the two things where Vedanta, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, they proclaim that this is what a sadhak will be achieving in life. So now, you know how this stage happens? Now, as we are from now 17 onwards, we will be the former part, Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. That will happen. And once you get established in the Paramatma Tattva, after coming out of the Dehatma Bhava, once you get established, then you will get the latter part of the assurance. That is Paramananda Prapti. Now, how does this happen? It's very logical. I would say faith is required, but even if you keep faith aside, think logically. Now if you are dreaming, you are trembling, you are perspiring. So in that state, if somebody comes and tells you, don't worry, you're just sleeping in a safe bed, how will the dream affect you? In the same way, we are in a waking state, not knowing our true self, and when with the Ishvara Krupa, if we get this knowledge, then it is like you're living your life in a awakened state. You're not just awake, you are in an awakened state, and you will be able to get rid of all the dukkhas. This is one thing, and I must tell you, this will happen. Now, how will this happen? by constantly listening to the same thing again and again, again and again, again and again, in different ways. The same thing will be put forth in manifold ways. So just allow it. Don't try to think too much. Let it go into your subconscious. That is the best way to make this work for you. So today, apart from me focusing on the core aspects of the shlokas, the meaning and the message what Bhagavan Shankara wants to convey to us, what I'll be doing is I'll be using various tools to make you understand how to achieve that better. So we'll be taking up two things today. One is an awareness meditation, an extremely important meditation where now I'm going to take it in a way like there is a dialogue between a seeker and a guru, a sage. Okay, in that way, question and answer and how it unfolds. So you will be able to get into that state of conscious meditation. Otherwise, always if you see, if you're not guided well, if you're not trained well, everybody will be doing a relaxation meditation, or they will be doing a prana vikshana, which is being aware of your breath, or they will be doing where they are trying to avoid all the thoughts, which we did for almost 2.5-3 years. But how do I get established in that consciousness? So I'll be giving some inputs today, so let's understand that. And also, one of the famous philosophers of the US, so he conducted an experiment of how to find that aham bhava which is there in me, that I factor. Now if I'm talking, where is that I within me? So systematically he has made a step-by-step experiment. So we will have that experience today. Experience and experiment, and we'll be able to clearly understand where that I is hiding in us. Okay. So with this, what happens? You are coming out of the I factor and you're going to a greater depth in understanding how to do that conscious meditation. And as I have always been telling, the best time is the morning wee hours, where the energy levels are extremely high. You know, you go to a hotel, let's say, and you check in there, and then you have logged into the Wi-Fi of the hotel. Now during busy hours, what happens? The Wi-Fi speed is much low because everybody is using. So applying the same principle over here, but at the same time, if you try to log in at say 4 or 5 in the morning, most of them are asleep. So you will be able to draw the maximum capacity. In the same way, that is a time where your energies are at the highest level. The universe is emitting positive frequencies, vibrations. So catch that and make your endeavor more fruitful. Okay. So I'll just give you a brief of what we have studied so far, and then we'll move forward. Okay. Now in verse number 16, as I said, we understood the process of inquiry. Now in verse number 17, which we have done this particular verse, Atma vinishkalo heko deho bahubiravrataha tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimagnanamataparam. So kimagnanamataparam, this is a this will be a standard phrase for the next 5 verses, where he's ridiculing our ignorance. What is this here? You person, I'm telling you, I keep a diamond and I keep a charcoal next to it, and you say both are same. What? I can't understand your level of ignorance. That's how Bhagavan Shankara tries to tell us. He's saying it is so gross, but yet you get lost in that. Okay. So in this, vinishkalo heko, meaning this particular body has got several parts. It has got eyes, it has got ears, it has got a nose, it has got hands, legs, it has got hair, it has got a heart. So when it has got so many things, different parts, whereas that conscious enlivening factor doesn't have parts. It's one and one only factor which is there in with you. And how is it that you have got confused about that? So in that way he spoke about, can there be a greater ignorance than this? So this is what he said in the 17th verse. So now we'll take the 18th verse and we move ahead. Oh my God. I changed my laptop. I was using a desktop. I said to avoid trouble, let's test this. Okay. Then we should rely on the shloka which will be sent to you. Please. Okay, if Padmaja can send the shloka on the group, please read the shloka. Otherwise, nothing much to bother. I'll read it for you. Atma niyamakash chanto deho bahyo niyamyakaha tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamata param. Yeah, there it is. You all can. Now, what does this say? Okay, we come to verse 18. Now this says, Atma niyamakaha. Niyamakaha means it is basically the controller. And on the other hand, this deho, which is bahyo, which is outside. Atma is inside, deho is outside. Atma is the controller and deho is the controlled. And how can you mix up both of these and say that they are one and the same? See, these are all simple points, but you have to get it in the right perspective. Now he is coming out with his dashing arguments, but they are all pointers. Now how well you can understand that? Now you are driving a car. How can you and the car be one and the same? You are the driver, you are the operator of the vehicle. How can you and the car become one and the same? Like there is electricity and there are various gadgets at home. How can electricity and the gadgets become one and the same? So this existence and consciousness, which is lent to the mind and body, and then only the mind and the body do their things, whatever they need to do. So the Atma does not meaning control over there. It is lending. It is lending that support or that whatever is required for the rest of the things to function. It's not more than a magnet. Now a magnet is there. And there you see the iron filings, as soon as the magnet comes in, the iron filings are drawn towards it. That is the power which the magnet has. The magnet did not literally make the iron filings move. It was that the power over there, it gave movement to the iron filings. So is this way, the body is always regarded, the next point. One is the controller and the controlled. Then the body is regarded as external to you. But the Atma, which we say, it is inside. We don't say that the Atma is hanging outside in my body. We always know Antar and Bahya. This is what we have to get to understand. So the body is an object of consciousness. Just because there is an object of consciousness, it is exterior to consciousness. It is not that everything else is mixed up with it. It is different. Just like we have the controller and the controlled. what is inside and what is outside. If a person is standing outside your house and you are inside your house, how can both be in the same place? One is inside, one is outside, obviously. So in this way, you are the subject. You are the inner being, the interior. But interior not in any particular sense that I am in any particular part of the body. No, it is just that enlivening factor which is giving this entire body, senses, mind, prana to keep operating. And how have we recognized this? We have recognized this with that aham bhava. See, now we are slowly trying to come out of this. From the body level, senses level, mind level, now we will understand where is this aham bhava. Because everything, whatever we do, we attribute it to the aham bhava. This is clear for us? So now where is this aham bhava? We'll take this experience of this, one of the great philosophers of America and also a psychologist. So his name is Greg Good, Goode. Okay. So now, and he's also a great fan of Advaita Vedanta. He has practiced Advaita Vedanta. So now he says, let's do a simple experiment and see where this aham bhava is situated in me. So what he says is, primarily what we need to understand here, that this body is an object of our consciousness. Even the feeling of I, we all feel I am somewhere in there. But that's also an object of consciousness. This is what we're trying to understand over here. This is not consciousness. This aham bhava is an object to consciousness, because whatever we are able to see as this, na idam, as I told you, not this, then only it is Chaitanya Shakti. If you are able to get this, you will be able to go at great speed on this journey. Anything which you are able to say this becomes an object. Anything which you are not able to finally decode it as this, that means that is consciousness. Okay. So where are we moving now? We are now moving to remove that, understand where that I is, and eventually know that even I is an object. And how do you know this? Because you are able to now see for yourself. And who is the seer? That becomes the pure consciousness or the witness. Okay. So all ready to start the exercise? Okay. Sit straight. Straight in the sense, if your back is a little bent, just keep it a little straight. Make your spine straight. But yet your body relaxed. Now we are going to locate that I, aham bhava. Where is it in me? Or trying to understand, who am I? Where is this I in the body? And you will eventually get to know what it is. Okay? Now, you can sit on a chair or on a floor or wherever you are. You are in a seated position. Now we draw a parallel line to the floor along our waist. You have your navel. Along your navel, you draw a line parallel to mentally. Don't take any pen or pencil and try to do anything. Mentally now, parallel to the ground, you have drawn a line. Now you think for yourself. Where is this I? Is it in the lower portion of the body or is it in the higher portion of the body? Lower portion means below the waistline, or it is above the waistline. And I'm sure most of us will say it is above the waistline. Nobody will say that I is somewhere in my legs or in my knees. No. Okay. Now, coming up. Now, after having said that this I is somewhere above my waistline, now come a little above and draw a line, parallel line again, imaginary, to the floor on your stomach. Okay? Mentally. Now then you ask the same question again. Then we will still say it is above the stomach. Now, next line. Draw one more line parallel to the ground at the level of your throat. Okay. Draw one line here below the throat. Here again, most of us will say that eye is somewhere above the throat. Okay. Now, so far we were drawing parallel lines. One is we did at the waist, second we did at the abdomen, and third we did at the throat level. Now, you have to draw two vertical lines. So far it was horizontal. Now, vertical in the sense where you have to physically, like you have your head, make it into three portions. You have to draw somewhere on your middle of your eyebrow. This way you draw an imaginary line. And then you ask yourself, where is this eye? Is it towards the right part or towards the left part of my brain or my face, or is it in the center? Most of us will come to an understanding that it is in the central part of my face. Now, having come to this understanding, now you make a line, again parallel, which is at the tip of your nose. One parallel. So now you are left with this portion and this portion at the below. So now you are able to see that somewhere this eye is in this part of my body. So what did we do here all along? We are able to locate that eye, meaning it is an object. It is clearly an object. That eye which you are feeling behind each and every time you drew a line, you are trying to locate, and then you really understand, yes, I feel it is somewhere in this portion, in this square. So that is what exactly in the Atma Shatakam, if you say, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, what does Bhagavan Shankara say over there? Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. So I am not the manaha, I am not the buddhi, I am not the ahankara. That is the aham bhava, and I am not the ahankara, and I am not the chitta also. So that ahankara, it sounds extremely paradoxical, but that is the truth. He says it is not there, it is an object. What are you? I am the nature of that Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. So that real I is that which is watching this I, which is that real I, which is illumining this, even this aham bhava. So this way we have now understood that even what I was thinking of this aham bhava, even that is also nothing but an object. Now this is extremely clear to this person over here. Okay, so the body is regarded as external, and I, which I was feeling somewhere inside, I realize that is an object by which right now I did this experiment. Just like the body is an object, even this I, aham bhava, is also an object. So these are the subtle points which we need to understand when we are getting these inputs. See, input is there. For example, you know where to go, but understand, like, if you don't have the means to go, you know how to go, where to go, all that, but if you don't have the means, how will you go there? Like, for example, you have to go to another city on some work, but if you don't have the money to go, how will you go? So in the same way, now these are the techniques which we will have to adopt and stick with this. So this text is discussing the idea of that consistent awareness, or we talk about that consciousness that perceives change rather than being a changing entity itself. It suggests that from time to time to us that through logic and experience one can recognize that their essential self is the awareness of change rather than being subject to the changes themselves. So this way we have to use, like what are the points, if I have to once again recapitulate to you, that Atma is ekam, rest all are anekam. Several. One, Atma is singular, rest all are plural. Number two, Chit and Jada. Chit is that Atma is the nature of consciousness, knowledge, awareness. Jada is rest all what you can see comes under that inert. It has got no life. And how did it get life? Just now as we spoke, it is this presence of Atma. It gives it life. An iron filing, has fallen down. There is no movement. It is Jada. The moment you get a magnet before it, it starts moving. So it gets that. It becomes the operator. Number three, Vikari and Nirvikari. This is again a very important aspect which you can memorize. Whenever you chant Om, you should use these. First Om, I am not the Stula, Sukshma, Karana Sharira. And then you should say, this entire body, subtle gross body is Vikari, and I am that one who is Nirvikari. See how our body has changed. What were you when you were a small baby? Then what were you when you were a kid? Then you become a young boy. Then you got into a middle-aged person. Then an aged person. So how did this happen? You are seeing that we have all experienced this. So this is Vikari. This body is Vikari. And whatever is seen is an object. You as a seer is the subject. So and in the second Om, what will you say? You will say, I am not the waking, nor the dream, nor the deep sleep state. I am a drashta to all these three states, and all these three states become the drishya. And in the third time when we say Om, you have to say Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. I am not these three gunas. That is Guna Atita. And the earlier one which we said, I am not the waker, dreamer or the deep sleeper is, you are there, Avastatraya. Avastha meaning state of mind, Avastatraya. And prior to that, I am not the Stula, Sukshma, Karana, that is Dehatraya. You are coming out of that. So this way you have to establish every time you get a chance to say Om, remember this and keep telling yourself. When you say I am not Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, meaning I am that one which is the nature of Chit and the rest all is Jada. So these are the primary arguments which we have to hold in our mind. Remember, these are only apparent arguments which show us the logical inconsistency of holding these two, that is the body and the Atman, to be one. And it's logically inconsistent too, given what we know of them. If we actually reflect upon them strongly, it is very natural to hold them to be one, that I am the body. And it's only when we challenge it, and what exactly we are doing here is, in Advaita Vedanta, we are doing nothing but challenging this position of what we have lived our life so far. So this position which we have not reflected upon, never we have done this. So Vedanta says, this is the root of your suffering. Because when you are dreaming, you don't know you are dreaming. You are suffering in that dream. This identification with this body, so-called the Dehatma Buddhi, means I have wrongly understood what my true nature is. And I go deeper and deeper with that same thing. The feeling that I am this body and this mind. I make it very clear. If at all there is a pain in the body, it is to the body, it is not to you. It's a very big statement. How can I say that? You have to practice that. Because it is an object. If your mobile, there's a disorder, okay, it's broken, let's say, some part is broken. You mean to say that you are broken? No. It is a gadget which you are using. Same way this Atma is using this body. So if at all anything is happening over there, it has happened to the body and not to you. If at all there is something worrying in your mind, it is to that mind which is an object. You are using that apparatus. You have a mobile, you have a car, you have a laptop, you have a book, you have a pen. All these are your equipments. And if anything is happening to those equipments, nothing is gone wrong at your end. So this is now, you have to feel that I am separate and live in that. Just like I told you, with the grace of the Ishvara, like that minister coming and telling that boy who had a jungle boy, he tells him, you were lost in the jungle when you were about 13, 14 months old, and you are the prince of this entire kingdom. How much time did it take for him to understand? He had to only believe, and he had to be convinced, and he had to stay in that fact. That's all what we need to do. It seems quite elating and at the same time quite challenging. But with Ishvara Krupa, if we have got this, then not to worry about it. Okay? So, this is where we are now. What we'll do is, we'll come to the awareness meditation. After having done, now we have found out where that I is. Let's in the same spree go ahead with the awareness meditation, and then I'll take the other shlokas. Okay? As I told you, you want to get established in this Atma Bhava. Okay? That is that pure consciousness. If you are able to see that pure consciousness, that means it is not a witness. The one which is seeing is a witness. And normally what happens is, we all get stuck in a situation where it is ad infinitum. It is one behind the other, one behind the other. You will be seeing, and every witness becomes an object eventually. How to overcome that is now what we are going to learn. Extremely great practices, and I would say rather great secrets. Now, why I made it in a dialogue format is so that you can relate to this. Let's say a sage, a guru, and there is a seeker. Now they are seated in a serene forest hermitage, and the seeker has been meditating continuously. He is meditating day after day, day after day. Now, when the seeker is sitting in meditation, eyes closed, he does his breathing pranayam and he gets into the state of meditation. The sage over there, he comes and he sees his face. He sees that there is some kind of tension on his face. And the seeker asks, the sage asks him, why are you so tensed? I don't see you peaceful when you're meditating. Now that seeker tells Gurudeva, I have been meditating for years. What have you been meditating upon? Whatever you taught us, that I am that consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma. I have been meditating on that. But I don't feel any kind of a liberation. What is that and where is that I am stuck? Now, the guru, the sage, asks him, oh my son, tell me, how are you meditating? What do you actually meditate? What do you do when you meditate? Now you start relating, you will be able to know where you have gone wrong. Now here, the seeker says, I focus within myself and I am repeating Prajnanam Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. I am repeating it continuously. I am that consciousness. I am this entire universe. Okay. Now the sage tells him, the guru tells him, this kind of meditation will not give you any fruit. And he continues, he says, you are caught in the notion of that I, that Aham Bhava. But the seeker tells him, Gurudev, it is you who have taught us. Aham Brahmasmi, you went to that highest level and said, Aham Brahmasmi, you meditate in that. Now the sage tells him, yes, but in what sense? Are you trying to dissolve the ego or are you trying to reinforce it? Meaning you are giving strength to the ego actually over here. This is the point which you all need to catch. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, where are you situated? You are situated in that I. That's why earlier I was mentioning, you should not say this. Even Brahma Jnana Valli should be understood when you have elevated yourself to the level of consciousness. Being in the state of Deha Bhava, if you sing this Brahma Jnana Valli, it will be a mismatch. Okay, now the sage tells him, come, let's do an experiment. There's a mirror there. He picks up that mirror and he holds in front of this Shishya, the seeker. He says, look into this mirror. What do you see? Obviously the seeker says, I see myself. Now the guru tells, good. Now if you were to keep repeating, I am the one in the mirror, I am the one in the mirror, would that make you the reflection? Seeker says, no, the reflection is just an appearance. I am the one looking at it. Then the sage says, exactly, your meditation is like speaking to the reflection. Your mind is that construct of that I, instead of recognizing that you are already the one who sees. See, this is the subtle point here now. Now there is a shift in that perspective of the seeker. Now the seeker contemplates for a moment. His expression changes from where? From that state of confusion to a state of realization. He says, the seeker says, constantly meditating on I am that consciousness, I was still caught in identification with the idea of that I, which is nothing but Aham Bhava. Then his guru tells him, instead of being awareness itself, you were thinking about being awareness. That is the biggest difference. This needs repetition. What does the teacher tell him? Instead of being awareness itself, you were thinking of being awareness. So now the seeker says, then how should I meditate? His guru tells him, drop the need to affirm something. Simply be. Simply be. The sky does not say that I am the sky. It is just the sky, that's it. So the seeker, he closes his eyes again. Then this time a deep silence fills the space. His face is no longer tensed. Now he is not trying to become anything. He is not trying to see anything. He is not trying to realize anything. There is no tension on his face. Rather, it is now there is peace. Now the sage, his guru, looks at his Shishya and he realizes, he understands. Now he got it. So, this script which we just now understood, it's a mere shift in the perspective which transforms our inner meaning of meditation. We are caught in the constant concept of being awareness. Now, that should not be the case. So true meditation is not about affirming in something, but in directly becoming that something, free of any sense of I. So when you henceforth sit for meditation, if you want to catch hold of that consciousness, which will be the true bliss giver to you, once you have that bliss, then nothing would really matter to you, whether you get, you don't get. You will not do all the foolish things which you were doing earlier. Because, as they say, desires are the signature of discontentment. The more and more desires reduce, which means your contentment is increasing and discontentment is decreasing. So that I has to go away. So you will be seeing Atyantika Dukkha Nivrutti, because now you are understanding the truth. And once you get established in this consciousness, you will start experiencing that bliss within. Okay, so now we move on to Shloka number 18. Come. Okay, you have sorry. Okay. Now the next shloka will be posted to you. Come. Shloka number no, sorry, we are on shloka number 19 now. Okay, 19. Atma jnanamaya punyo deho mamsamayo shuchihi tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamatapparam. It's again Shloka 19. Atma Jnanamaya Punyo. It is sacred. It is full of knowledge. Whereas Deho Mamsamayo Ashuchihi. What is this body? This body is completely made of flesh, bones, blood, and filth. And how do you compare both these to be one and the same? This is what now in this particular shloka. Simple. Now one has to think deeply now. Again and again one has to actually go into the deeper aspects. So the self is of the nature of knowledge and purity, while the body is composed of flesh, blood and bones. What greater ignorance is there than to perceive these two as one and the same? So you imagine now what key points for contemplation, let's say, which is the Atma, the self. This has always been an experiencer. It is never the experienced. What is an experience in life? Consciousness plus an object equals experience. Without consciousness, there is no experience. Without an object, also there is no experience. Now, how is that? How do we understand a situation where there is no object, but there is only consciousness? Deep sleep. In deep sleep, where there is no involvement of mind, no involvement of body, no involvement of senses. So that's how, what is there? There is only pure consciousness. So in that scenario, that becomes, there is no experience there. But in the waking world, how do we experience? You have got the body to experience, you have got the senses to experience, you have got the mind to experience. So that's how constantly there is an experience. So the self is always an experiencer, but never the experienced. So you look at every moment of life, you have joy, pain, memory, tension, apprehension. Now all this what? How do you know this? I am the knower of all this. I know that I am happy now. I know that I am disturbed. I know that I am tensed. I know that I am feeling grateful. Now you are that knower. So it is that awareness itself. It is untouched and observing. You are never an object in your experience. You are always the subject. So these are all the points which you need to draw for your contemplation. Now, say for example, you look at your hand. Okay, this hand is an object, which we have clearly understood because it is a part of the body. Now, you can say, hey hand, how are you today? You can say that. But is the hand able to reply to that? Hey, fine, I'm doing well today. How are you? No. Imagine like you're sitting and if the hand starts talking to you, how will it be? So that way, it is that you are observing, you are experiencing with the object what you are able to see in your life. Okay, this is one part. Now the body. Now it is a material entity. Again, if you see, there is skin, bones, blood, mucus, and thank God that we have a skin all around which is 18 square feet on an average for each and every body. 18 square feet of skin is carrying this entire baggage of blood, flesh, bones, organs. Have you ever got a chance to see whenever there was a surgery with the family members and they've taken some part of the body outside and they show you, see, this is the part which you have operated and removed. You can't stand looking at that. It is a flesh, an organ which they have removed. And if it is decayed and rotted, then that's a different thing. So this content of the body is completely different from you, the experiencer. So that is what they are trying to exactly tell us over here. Understand what is there in your body. There are so many functions which are happening in your body, but you are just the experiencer. How? Go to the previous shlokas. Operator and operated. They are two different again. So the knower and the knower, known. I am the knower. The known is my, let's say, my hand. It's the known. I'm seeing my hand. So just like I'm seeing my laptop, in the same way, we two are different. But out of avidya, what do we say? We say that I am the body. Say, yes, this body is an instrument of mine, but I am not the body. And what is happening to this body? Constantly it is changing. They say the stomach lining, it changes every 2 to 9 days. The skin cells completely are changed in 27 days. Liver is changed in 5 months. And blood cells every 3-4 months it keeps changing. The you who says this is my body is unchanged. But while the body is always changing. So this is the kind of an understanding which we have to give. And if I have to give you some more facts, like they say the blood cells, this is the fastest regeneration which happen. Every second there are about 20 lakh blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Whereas that is the red blood cells. White blood cells, they say, it takes about a few more minutes than the red blood cells. And skins, they say about 30 to 40,000 skin cells they shed every minute, replacing new ones from the current state. But the entire epidermis of a body renews in 27 to 28 days. Intestinal lining. Then the blood cells again, the entire skeleton, it changes in 10 years. That is, there is a through the bone remodeling, everything happens. And brain cells, they say, they do not really regenerate, but some neurogenesis occurs in the hippocampus, the memory center. So likewise, if you see, there are about 4 crore cells are dying every minute. 4 crore cells every minute, and again new ones are being born. So which means every second about 7 to 8 lakh cells are created in our body. That is the massive amount of change. You can look at it two ways, that this is constantly changing, one, and second is this is the power of the Creator. So that's how you will be able to establish yourself in a much more stronger way. And what to talk about what is much more inside your body? There are so many organs, so much of food goes inside the body, it is digested, it gives you energy, and then whatever is left over, it all comes as waste. So look at this entire process. It is an object which you are using, which you, meaning the Atman, is using, but you are not that. Okay. Now we move to the next verse, verse number 20. Atma prakashaka swachho dehastamasa uchyate tayorekyam prapashyanti kimajnanamata param. Earlier it was discussed as niyamaka and niyamyaka, operator and operated. Now here another analogy comes here, where Bhagavan Shankara, he tells us, look, Prakashakaha, this Atma of yours, it's no ordinary thing. It is an illuminator. It has got its own light. And this light is not affected by the association of with whatever it is being associated with. Okay. Say for example, now you have a torch. Now that torch, you're looking for something, and there is some dirty gutter water. You put on the gutter water, and then you just move ahead, and then you see there is holy water. Ganga is flowing there. Okay. Then you see that there is a thief. So you're trying to search that thief. So then finally you're able to flash the light on the thief. And there again you see somebody, a sage is meditating. You flash the light on the sage. Now this light, flashlight, torch, which went on that gutter water, on the Ganges water, it fell on the a thief, it fell on the sage. Did anything happen to it? Now, why this is being told is to make us understand that what is the nature of this Atman. It is Prakashakaha. It is of that nature. And nothing else disturbs it. Whatever comes in its way, it is only giving you that light. As they say, Jyotira Jyoti, consciousness is the light of lights. It doesn't need any other light. It is unaffected by everything else, like the sun. To see the sun, you don't need a light again. No, I want to watch the sun, get some light so that I can watch the sun. No. So this Atma, to experience that Atma, you don't need any other mode of gadget to see that. So now this is, again we are trying to mix it up with our body. This is the power of that Atma, and you are comparing it to this body. Just like the sun does not need any light to be seen, Atman is self-revealing. This consciousness itself, it enables all the perception, thoughts, memories, actions, niyamakaha. But the body is niyamyakaha, operated. Here it is prakashakaha, whereas the body is tamasa, it is inert. So that way, now thinking if I am this body is like confusing the light with the lamp. Now there is a lamp and there is light. Now you are the light that illumines the lamp, not the lamp itself. So the misidentification of the root of this whatever samsara, bondage, what we have got, which gives rise to the fear, desire, pride, suffering, anger, grudge, jealousy, desire, all this. Now where is it happening? That is again putting you on the track of karma bandhana. You are doing with these kind of mindset. You are performing actions with the aham bhava. Now no sooner the aham bhava is there, it is your signature that I am the owner of this action. If there is no aham bhava, then there is no signature. You might have given a check to somebody. When there is no signature, it has got no value. Whatever be the amount written on the check. So whatever be your action of whatever intensity, but if you have steady to understand that I am only the observer, I am not the doer of any action. Karmani akarmani appashet. In karma, whoever visualizes akarma, I am not the doer. How do you say I am not the doer? Use all these facts. What is there in me that I am doing anything? Now I have got this knowledge. Earlier I thought I was doing. Now with this knowledge I know it's all happening. If it rains, did you bring the rain? If the wind is flowing, are you getting the wind? This functioning of this body is nothing more than that. You just need to understand it. Whatever is happening outside in the nature is also happening at the same level within you. Trillions and trillions of atoms are there in your body. And behind each and every atom there is a God particle, which is sparkling like a star. And as I told you just now, what is the amount of cells which are being born, dead, recycled? Look at all this. You are not the doer. So when you get this feeling, I am not the doer, I am a clean observer to everything. Don't get involved in anything. A thought comes, body will get into action. Just become an observer. Like when you go to somebody's house, you've gone as a guest. Okay. Now what do you do over there? You sit there and people are coming, going. Let's say the driver is coming, the maid is coming, then some other servant is coming to the house, a mali is coming. Now what do? You only sit and observe. You are not going to instruct them. So you have to apply the same principle over here. I am not supposed to instruct. How quietly you sit over there. Imagine you telling the driver, tum udhar jao, ye leke aao, get this, get that. Or you tell the cook, abhi tum ye banao, wo banao. She will not take orders. You know that for a fact. So as you silently sit there and you just observe everybody in action, same way we have to, being stationed in this, knowing what it is, look at how everything is functioning, and that needs to be practiced. Now again, if you have to give this a comparative statement, like imagine a room, where there is a lamp and there is a mirror in a room. Okay. How do I correlate to myself? The lamp represents the self-luminous, which is our nature. The mirror represents our buddhi, meaning antakarana, it is mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Everything comes over there. Let's say the body is like that wall in the room, which is illuminated by the illumination of that lamp. Now, the mirror, what it is happening is, this lamp which is there, it's falling on the mirror, and that mirror is able to reflect that light in that room. Now, the error which happens over here is the body consciousness which is there is that Chaitanya Shakti reflecting on this mind becomes that Chetana Shakti and is enlivening all the actions in this body. So now what has happened? The mind says that I am the doer. Simple. Just like the mirror is telling all the others, look, I am giving this light. But the mirror doesn't have its own light. It doesn't produce its own light. So next time when we think, I am tired, who is aware of this tiredness? You will notice that the tiredness belongs to the body, but you are the one who is observing the body and the tiredness. So that awareness is unchanging while the body's state keeps changing from time to time. So this way we have to understand. And that discernment or that Viveka Shakti in us. Think of that example. You have gone as a guest to somebody's house. You don't interfere in anything. Become in the same way in your own life. And that will take you to the higher planes. That akartrutva is there. When that akartrutva comes in action, now all the time we are in the kartrutva action. Now bring in that akartrutva, abhoktrutva, and you will see that you are out of this samsara. The moment you are out of this samsara, then knowledge dawns upon you and you are then and there alone liberated. The immediate effect, part A, will be that nothing should trouble you in your life because now you know the truth. And part B will be when you get into the right state of meditation, being established in that awareness, you will start experiencing that Paramananda. And which we have seen with so many sages, monks who have reached that stage. So what we need is we need to only have that faith and practice these valuable lessons. Okay. Come. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Nama. So we have completed up to 21. Okay, we'll take up 22 in the next class. Now, let's do the Shri Vishnu Sahasranama, verse number 48. Divya Namavali is 453, Sarvajnaha, and 454, Gnanamuthamam. Let's read the Shloka first. Yajna mahejyascha kratuhu satram satangatihi sarvadarshi vimuktatma sarvajño gnanamuthamam. Sarvajñah, omniscient. He is the principle of consciousness and therefore he is the illuminator of all thoughts, all intentions, motives emotions and all sense perceptions in an individual. So this is the meaning is just about the same as in Sarvadarshi. The next one, 454, Gnanamuthamam. The supreme knowledge of all other knowledges, this self is the supreme knowledge. For without the consciousness, no knowledge is possible. Taittiriya Upanishad indicates the self as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. This is that one knowledge which enables all other knowledges. Hence is known as Gnanamuthamam. To such a divine Lord, we offer our humble salutations and seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Okay, now we chant the Dhanvantari mantra thrice. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokya Nidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokya Nidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Our humble salutations to Dhanvantari Devata to grant us the relevant and requisite amount of health so that we are able to reach our goal. Now, please come. Let's meditate on the 5th verse of the Brahma Jnana Valli Mala. Now, what should be your state when you are doing this meditation? You have to ensure that you have crossed the aham bhava. Otherwise, just now what we learnt in the awareness meditation, you will be encouraging that aham bhava to get strengthened within yourself. And it will not match. Like being in the midst of a busy market, and if you are trying to read a poem where it is all serene, all calm, all peaceful, it will not match the location. So that's how you have to transcend, change your perception. So now first let's do a bit of pranayam, maybe half a dozen times of Anulom Vilom, and then do we about 6 Brahmari. So there will be a great transformation in your brain just by doing this much of pranayam, and go to a state where I'll guide you. We'll cross the Panchakosha, then we'll do a little bit of Drigdrishya Viveka, and then Dehatraya, Avastatraya. We'll cross all this, and then I will chant this mantra and we will meditate on the meaning of this mantra. Come. Please again, in a relaxed position, and at the same time your back is straight. Anulom Vilom. Brahmari Pranayam. Now, having relaxed your mind with a well prepared mind, let's adopt the principle of Drigdrishya Viveka, which simply says that which is seeing and that which is seen are two different things. Now, your eyes are seeing various objects. It's seeing your mobile, it's seeing your book, it's seeing your pen, it's seeing the room, the fan, the AC, the furniture. What the eyes is seeing, all that is different from the eyes. Your eyes and all the objects are not the same. So in the same way, the knower of all things in your life, that knower is that consciousness, which is the true self, and the rest all is the known. Just like you know your senses. Yes, my eyes are burning, my hands are paining, my legs are tired, my body is weak. So you know all this. So you are the knower. And the rest, body, mind, senses, everything are nothing but objects. Now you're slowly detaching yourself from the admixture of the body, mind, and the soul. You are the knower, and the rest all is the known. Now we come to the Pancha Tattva, Jnana, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya. Panchakoshas. I can clearly see my body. It's nothing but a bag of flesh, blood, organs, bones, tissues, filth. That is something which is seen, so it is different from me, the seer. Prana, I can see my prana. Sometimes I breathe heavy, sometimes I breathe light. I can see the air entering my body. I can see the air going out of my body. That too is an object. I am the observer and the prana is the observed, the known, the object, and I am the subject. Manomaya. I can clearly see my mind. Sometimes it is confused. Sometimes it is happy. It is sad. It is nervous. It is anxious. It is tired. All this is clearly visible to me. So the mind too is an object, and I am the observer and the knower of the mind. I am different, and this mind is different from me. Vijnanamaya. Sometimes I understand, sometimes I don't understand. I have an eureka moment in my life sometimes. Sometimes I feel what a dullard I am. I feel honored sometimes. I feel insulted sometimes. All this I am able to see. So, this intellect too is the known and I am the knower. So that too is not me. It is an instrument which I am using. Anandamaya. In deep sleep I go to a state where there is no experience of anything. A state of complete relaxation, stillness. Now that too I am able to observe, which is subject to change. For some time it is there and thereafter it is not there. So the going and coming of this Anandamaya too is in my knowledge. So that too is an object and I am the observer and that becomes the observed. After the Panchakosha Viveka, now we come to the Dehatraya, Stula, Sukshma, Karana. All these three are inherently involved in the Panchakosha. The Annamaya comes under the Stula Sharira. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, they come under the Sukshma Sharira. And the Anandamaya comes under the Karana Sharira. I am not these three states of the body. Now this knowledge is getting very clear that I am an observer, I am the subject, I am the knower, I am the facilitator, I am the illuminer, I am the operator. I am different from all this. Avastatraya. I am neither the dream waking state, nor the dream state, nor the deep sleep state. These are all states of the mind. I am an observer of all these three states. I know what is happening in a dream, I know what is happening in deep sleep, and I also know what is happening in a waking state. A waking state is more appropriate, much more experienceable, because the presence of the body, the senses, and the mind, all three are there. So it is more lucid and vivid to us. Whereas with the absence of the senses and the body, with only the mind present in the dream state, it is like a flat tire which loses its balance and it goes the way it wants to go. You have no control over it. And in a deep sleep state, even the mind has gone to rest. There is nothingness over there. So this way, I am not the three states. Having understood this, being completely out of the gambit of all this anatma, now in that state of a pure, sublime, serene mind, I understand the fifth verse of the Brahma Jnana Valli. Shuddha Chaitanya Rupoham Atma Ramohameva Cha Akhandananda Rupoham Ahamevahamauyayaha. Shuddha Chaitanya Rupoham. I am of the nature of pure consciousness. Here the seeker realizes that the true self is not the body or mind, but that pure awareness and awareness alone. This Chaitanya is free from impurity, modifications, and limitations. Just like the sky remains unaffected by clouds, our real nature remains untouched by the worldly experiences. Now, with this knowledge and background, what do we need to do? Reflect. I am not these fleeting thoughts, nor the emotions, nor the body. I am the silent witness, pure and untouched, ever free. You are doing nothing. You are pure awareness. Atma Ramo Hamevacha. I myself am that Supreme Self. I am that Rama. Rama here symbolizes the blissful, all-pervading consciousness. This Atman, the Self, is the ultimate refuge, the source of true peace and happiness. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, you are not separate from the infinite Brahman. Just as the wave is not separate from the ocean, I too am not separate from the infinite Brahman. Akhanda Ananda Rupoham. I am the nature of undivided bliss. This asserts that our real nature is uninterrupted joy beyond pleasure and pain. How do I understand this? Imagine a deep ocean. The surface has many waves, which are like the changing emotions. But the depths of the ocean remains calm and untouched always. Similarly, our true nature is eternal peace beyond worldly ups and downs. Happiness is not in the objects, it is in my very nature. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer today's Gnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Naham Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om everybody. We lost track of time, almost crossed 10 minutes. I'm sorry for that. Thank you everybody. Hari Om. So we'll try to meet up next week. This is a very most critical and important phase in our spiritual journey. Give your utmost attention and achieve all that what you want to achieve. You're very close to what you tried for all these 5 years. Let's keep with the same momentum, keep moving forward. Hari Om.